Welcome back to 5 Minute Fantasy Football, presented to you by the Sports Gambling Podcast Network and our friends over at Underdog. Make sure you download Underdog Fantasy, use promo code FFSGPN so they know we sent you. Let's talk about the number one trending player, and that's Cedric Tillman. He's my top pickup this week. I would use 50% or more, depending on your format and roster, league size. But Cedric Tillman's going to be a wide receiver 3 or higher for the rest of the season. He's been a wide receiver 2 or higher the last 2 weeks in a row. Jameis is slinging it. Deshaun Watson's not coming back. You expect Winston to really continue to throw it a lot. This weekend was a lot because of the Baltimore defense and all the injuries they had in the secondary. But we know Jameis. This is what he does, and Tillman has been great. If you have to empty the clip, if you really need a receiver, do it. Parker Washington, he's just kind of next man up. All three of the top receivers are injured. Christian Kirk with a shoulder. We have a chest injury for Brian Thomas Jr., and we have Gabe Davis with an injury as well. If none of those guys play, Parker Washington's the wide receiver 2 behind Evan Ingram. We don't know what the status is. I wouldn't go dump a lot, but 5% maybe on Parker Washington. He's 100% available. Cedric Tillman is widely available, 64% of leagues, including this one that I'm in. Parker Washington, then Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman's he's little around 26% available, so probably not available in your leagues, but in a slight chance he is. He's another one that I would go 50% or higher because he's going to be a starter the rest of the year. Matthew Stafford's the top quarterback. Stafford is almost available in 70% of leagues. Yes, he doesn't rush the ball, but he throws it a lot, and he's got 2 great weapons, Cooper Kupp and Puka, that do a lot of the work for him. And Bo Nix, don't forget about Bo Nix. This guy is running the ball at an extremely high rate, doing a lot of things that we kind of expected from some of these other quarterbacks. He's been low-key really, really good on the ground. He's 65% available. We're seeing him start to get, start to throw the ball a little better and get those, pass catchers involved. We've seen that the last 2 or 3 weeks in a row. And he's backed up by a really good defense. So Bo Nix is someone that I'm interested in. Probably 7% on Stafford, 7% on Bo Nix. I wouldn't care if I got either one. Zach Ertz, he's 60% available. He's someone that I would be interested in just because the tight ends are difficult. You're gonna have a hard time, finding anybody on there, and he's just giving you a safe floor. He's on a really good offense, and they don't really have a secondary option. He's been getting a safe 4 or 5 catches every week. Cade Otton, obviously, if he's available, go pick him up, but I doubt he's available in your leagues. Elijah Moore, I'm slightly interested. Again, this offense is good, and in your deeper leagues, yeah, go pick him up. It's not someone I'm going to spend a whole lot on, but again, in your deeper leagues, Elijah Moore's there. Him and Jerry Jeudy. I just don't think Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, and Njoku and Tillman are going to exist. And Elijah Moore is kind of the guy I'm least interested in out of that group. Josh Downs, I mean, it's ugly. Anthony Richardson, he had, 3 completions and they all for like 50 yards. Downs had, a decent day because he had the long play. But other than that, like it's feast or famine. He's a really, really tough play until they move to Flacco. But in the press conference today, Shane Steichen refused to announce the starter, which is possibility. So Downs is someone, a speculative ad, maybe 13%. New Orleans Saints defense, you get 21% rostered, so they're widely available. Calvin Ridley, he's 31% available. I'm going to go and say that he's not available in your leagues, but if he is, he's a cheap wide receiver 1 on an offense, and now DeAndre Hopkins is out of town. You're going to see more Calvin Ridley. But again, you have a quarterback change possibly coming soon with Will Levis. And even if Will Levis it's just a weird game where like the Lions were up like 35 points and they only had like 3 or 4 offensive possessions and they were up 35, 40 points. And so it got out of control. But Mason Rudolph threw the ball 40 times. I knew that was not part of the game plan. Isaac Guerrendo, he's very interesting because you have Jordan Mason re-injured his shoulder. He's trending down. He's not gonna, I wouldn't say drop him, but he's definitely someone that is getting close to that. Guerrendo looks great. And if you get him for 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to start him every single time. So he's worth a 25-30% spent. But Christian McCaffrey, they've opened up the window, and if so, they're on a bye this week. If Christian McCaffrey comes back in 2 weeks, you're not going to be happy about spending 30-35%. So I would go 20-25% on Guerrendo. He is on a bye this week, which might keep his price down a little bit. Let's go to a couple more. Malik Willis, Jordan Love had a groin strain. He could be out for a week or two. Malik Willis did pretty decent. So in your super flex leagues, not in your one quarterback leagues. Washington and Detroit were the other defenses that were being added. Let's look at Ladd McConkey. He's not going to be available in your leagues, but if he is, go pick him up. But I want to go to the drop players. Let's keep going down and see who's being dropped. Because, of course, if you're adding all these players, you're going to have to drop somebody, right? So here's the people that are being dropped. Dalvin Cook. Yeah, it's over. It's over Dalvin Cook. It's over Ezekiel Elliott. Sterling Shepard. Shepard, I think, could do a little bit better as the season goes on. I think it was a tough matchup. But in your deeper leagues, I'm going to hold on to him. But, I'm okay with doing the drop. I just don't think he's got a ceiling. He's never been a big touchdown guy. Sean Tucker, drop. He's a handcuff to the handcuff. Caleb Williams, I'm not dropping him. It was a good matchup, and I thought he would do better, but I'm not going to drop him. The question would be like Caleb Williams versus Matthew Stafford or Bo Nix. I mean, I'll keep Caleb. Detroit defense is being added and being dropped. Tutu Atwell, Trey Palmer, Jalen Tolbert, Juwan Jennings. I'm picking him up. Let people drop him. I'm going to pick him right back up. He should be back next week, if not the week after. Ricky Pearsall did okay, but Jacob Cowan didn't do anything. Cole Kmet, I'm okay with. I know it's tough in the tight ends, but there's just so many mouths to feed. He's just not high enough on the totem pole. Justice Hill, he's hit or miss. Obviously running backs are hard to find. So like if you need a running back, go pick him up. But Keaton Mitchell is coming back at some point this season. Rasheen Ali. But Justice Hill is the number 2 and the pass catching back in that offense. They're not in a lot of situations where they need to play from behind or utilize him. Alan Lazard, Alan Lazard is someone that, people are dropping. You can go pick him up. Mike Williams possibly could be traded, but I'm really not interested in anybody not named Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson in that Jets offense. So a few other names just to look for. Jameis Winston, again, I'd put about 5% fab on him. Braylon Allen, I'd put about 7% on him, or Tyler Algier. Both those guys are just extremely high value handcuffs, and they do have some standalone value on the week. You saw Braylon Allen touchdown this week. McLaughlin, you got Guerrendo, Jaylen Warren, and Raheem Mostert. Don't forget about Mostert. Scored 2 touchdowns this week. I think Mostert could be someone that, again, is a high touchdown guy that you could have the rest of the season. For the receivers, again, keep an eye out for the rookies, Pearsall, McConkey, Coleman. I don't think many of them are going to be available, but if they are, I'd be doing at least a 15% on each of them. But for McConkey and Coleman, I would do 30-40%. Look for Josh Downs and Jennings. And as far as tight ends, Gesicki, Ertz, and Taysom Hill are people that I'm interested in. And then as far as the receivers, it's really tough out there. But with the Diggs injury, Xavier Hutchinson is getting some more play, and he's running ahead of John Mechie in that offense. And then don't forget about Mike Wilson. Michael Wilson, and Michael Wilson's been catching some balls. But the last guy I'll throw out here, a little bit sleeper name, is Jalen Coker for the Carolina Panthers. Deontay Johnson could be on the move. He's a player that talking about trading at the deadline. We saw him emerge this week. Adam Thielen is there, but he's getting older. And Jalen Coker is, he's an Alabama played at Alabama and then transferred to a smaller school. Showed out, had a really nice combine. Just being invited to the combine tells you a lot about this kid, and he's a good play. So that's 5 Minute Fantasy Football. As always, good luck this season.